Abnormal Andy, and Phantom Dark Dave. The Screaming Skull Podcast.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to a brand new episode of the Screaming Skull Podcast, and we are your host. I'm Phantom Dark Dave.
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
Andy, happy Halloween 2025.
Happy Halloween.
It's one of the greatest times of the year, especially if you do a horror podcast.
Oh yeah, man, this is like our prime time.
Hey, you gotta be careful, man. Amazon's gonna come after you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if anybody's been listening to us this month, we're doing a bonus episode, and what a way to end it. We're going to count down our top 10 master list of movies that we've discussed and agreed should be the perfect watch list for your Halloween movie marathon. And we're actually going to have a little Halloween movie marathon because our episode today is going to conclude with a complete breakdown and review of the Halloween 2018 franchise. I don't know if there's a maybe David Gordon Green franchise. Is there a name for it?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just I think that's probably the best way to put it, the David Gordon Green trilogy or whatever. Yeah.
I like when you call them DGG. I can't get that out of my head now.
Yeah.
This is the DGG trilogy.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, get it? Trilogy? Holy shit. It ended with G.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
GGG
that's too bad.
trilogy.
But oh man, this is really cool and this is really special because I took the day off and I watched all three movies today in a row. That was about
Wow.
6 hours straight when you pause and take notes. And I gotta say, man, I had seen all these movies before of the Halloween movies, but this was definitely my first rewatch of Halloween Kills and first rewatch of Halloween Ends. And watching it all together as one big movie marathon really gave me a lot of insight.
Yeah, I agree. Like when you're watching them all together, you really catch some things that, especially like I definitely, this is my second watch. This is, well, let's see. So I watched Halloween 2018 a couple of times. I got to watch some of Halloween Kills. I mean, I got to watch all three of them again, but I wanted to go back and see if I could watch them another round. But I made it through the first Halloween and part way through Halloween Kills, but that was it. So, but they're all pretty fresh in my mind. But yeah, I mean, I thought they were okay when I first watched them, back when they came out. I was like, yeah, it's fine, it's whatever. But, I'm liking them more. I feel like the more I watch them, the more I like him. And the more I like this Michael Myers, man. He is uh very like brutal, but also kind of plays with his victims and like does really kind of like sadistic things. I don't know, he's like for instance, like he'll make, if it's like a couple, he'll like incapacitate the one person in some way and make them watch him kill the other one.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And I'm with you. I gained
I
a
was
lot of
like,
respect for this new Myers as well.
it's like, dang, he is cold. Like, I mean, you could like
It's
just,
been 40 years. He gives no fucks, man.
yeah, and he seems like he's just like this machine, this no feeling, no personality killer, but he through his kills, he does kind of have a personality, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah. And he's very much in tune with his surroundings because he will use that knife anytime he can. But if it is not nearby, he will use whatever is the next best thing. And that is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Like he'll use a fluorescent light tube, he'll use a
A
hammer.
fluorescent light tube? Is that what they call that?
I don't know,
I've
whatever.
never heard anybody call, I mean, a fluorescent light bulb, but a light
Okay.
tube. Like, good God, you're teaching me all these new words I'm never going to be able to get rid of.
I don't know because yeah, but what I was trying to say.
I gotcha. But hey, before we dive into that, because I know we're going to start gushing over this stuff, let's go
Yeah.
ahead and give the listeners the top 10 master list. Are you ready for that?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Andy and I sat down. We talked about all the movies that we had previously mentioned. We narrowed it down to a list, and we decided rather than sit there and try to put everything at like number 10, number like a specific order, we're just going to say these are the 10 movies that we recommend. And so, as we mention these here, don't feel like I'm saying watch this one over the other. It's watch all of them. All right, here we go. So, we're going to say the master list consists of 1959's House on Haunted Hill. 1968's Night of the Living Dead, 2022's Terrifier 2, 1959's The Tingler, 1931's Dracula, 2015's Hell House LLC, 2023's Late Night with the Devil, 2003's House of a Thousand Corpses, 1960's 13 Ghosts, and Andy, there was one more spot to fill, and I'm going to let you have the ground. What is our final recommendation for the top 10 master list?
All right, the final recommendation for the Halloween night marathon or Halloween day marathon, whatever you want to say, it is the Halloween franchise. Dun, dun, dun.
Every single Halloween film.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of a curveball, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they weren't expected.
We're not crazy, man. You can't have a Halloween master list without having Michael Myers. Come on.
Yeah.
They were going to call us out if we didn't do something like that. And that's the reality is we took 9 of the movies we mentioned and added another like 13. There you go.
Yeah.
And you said you weren't sure if it was Halloween day or night. My dude, if this is the master list, it's going to be Halloween day and night because that is a whole day's worth of film.
Yeah, I mean, just the Halloween franchise alone is like all day and all night, I feel like.
That's right. You're going to have to take a vacation just to watch these movies. And that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So awesome. I am excited to talk about these movies. Andy and I talked off the air how we were going to do it, and we decided to talk about them individually, one movie at a time. So, Andy, let's talk Halloween 2018.
I've waited for him.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're on.
We're here to investigate a patient that killed 3 innocent teenagers on a Halloween in 1978. He was shot by his own psychiatrist and taken into custody that night, and has spent the last 40 years in captivity. Hello, Michael. I have something you might like to see.
Everyone in my family turns into a nutcase this time of year. Yeah, I mean, your grandmother is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those babysitters?
No, it was not her brother. That's something that people made up.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Dad, look out!
The bus crashed.
Mom, what bus crashed?
Michael escaped.
Excuse me, somebody's in here.
Hello?
He's waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him.
Get out the room! Get inside!
You don't believe in the boogeyman?
He's here!
Michael! You should.
Can you close the closet door?
All right. First and foremost, this is an interesting movie because they X-nayed everything after 1978 Halloween. And I know going in, I was not okay with that because I love the original Halloween and equally love Halloween 2 from 1981. I mean, shit, you and I love all the Halloween movies, but I assumed so. You have Halloween H2O, you have Halloween 456, you have Halloween Resurrection. Halloween is very okay with random timelines, ain't they?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's very fractured. I mean, there's probably like what 6 or 7 different timelines in this franchise. I
We
don't know.
didn't need another one,
Yeah,
but it is pretty interesting what they chose to do. And right out of the gate, man, this thing starts off with podcasters. I mean, this would not be a modern horror film if there wasn't a podcaster.
yeah, yeah. I mean, these are well, they call themselves investigative journalists.
Sure, we investigate horror movies too.
But yeah, I thought this was really interesting. You know, the beginning uh, with the podcaster visiting Michael Myers, and we don't quite know like what their goal is when they arrive. Um, but I thought it was really cool when he pulls the mask out, and like all the other inmates are like reacting to it.
Yes.
Michael does even react to it a little bit too. You know, he kind of turns his head a little bit. And it just really builds up the tension to the opening credits. You know, he's like, say something. And um, so I think it was really cool, a really cool way to start off the movie, I think. Just, it went from like, it just like really built up the tension. I really liked it.
It really did. And I love that right when he says say something, it cues title card and we get the perfect theme, a little modernized, but still the perfect Halloween theme. And we get that same comfortable black background with orange font, and we get the pumpkins and we get, the credits and the zoom in and everything. Like it immediately felt like home.
Yeah, it did. For sure. Yeah. It's, a callback to the original.
It is, and that's one thing I can say for the entire franchise, whether you love it or hate it, or only like, one movie of the three or whatever the case is, you can't deny that this director didn't have an insane amount of passion and love for the Halloween franchise. Pretty much every movie, because there are nods throughout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's Easter eggs all throughout for all the different movies in the franchise. It's interesting if you watch through them and you pay attention, you'll see them, and even a lot of callbacks just to the original movie, which is interesting. 1978's Halloween is a part of this trilogy, or this.
Yep, this is a requel, or at least a sequel, I guess what they may call it. But um, Andy, question for you, my dude. What do you think of this new distressed but definitely prepared Laurie Strode?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting choice. Well, I think it kind of made sense. I mean, with uh somebody that has went through that kind of situation, that kind of like
Trauma.
trauma, yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's paranoid and she has a survival fortress, Um, and so it makes sense. She has this fortress of solitude, not, to take something from Superman. But it's interesting. Um,
It's interesting that she did like a 10-minute interview for $3,000. Those
yeah,
podcasters were loaded, man.
yeah, that was crazy. Like but I guess they felt like they had to just to be able to even get their foot in the door. I don't know.
Do you think that they were allowed into Smith's Grove because either A, they paid their way in, or do you think it was because something that one of them said when she said that they had shined or shown, I don't know how to say it, shined light on like a previous true crime thing and they helped, I don't know if they helped solve it or whatever, but that's how she made it seem.
Yeah, it seemed like they had some success in the past, and they were probably like they were probably a well-established podcast, I'm gonna assume.
Kind of like us,
Yeah,
at least in my house and
exactly.
your house, right?
Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the whole meeting with Lori, I thought that was interesting. It really gives us insight into the podcasters, but also Lori's kind of mindset. And I don't know, like, yeah, they kind of like the podcasters kind of like
I didn't
they,
like them. First time I watched it,
yeah,
I didn't. I have grown a little more sympathetic to them after rewatches, but I remember the first time out of the gate, I was like, see, this is why podcasters get a bad rep because of shit like this.
right, yeah, they were trying to get a reaction. They had they had a podcast episode to make, so they were trying to get a reaction, trying to get some sound bites from Laurie.
Sure.
So I think that's why they were asking some of the questions that were, that offended Laurie or kind of made her upset.
Well, yeah, and it was letting us know a lot of things about like Lori has been married twice, has a daughter, lost custody of her at like age 12 or whatever, and we find out just how troublesome Laurie Strode's life has been post 1978.
And I think that the trauma feels authentic to me. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's like overdone, really. I mean, I think it's yeah, she's a survivalist. She kind of reminds me of like Sarah Connor from Terminator 2,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of that level, which it's realistic. I would think, especially for if you are spending decades preparing for Michael Myers to return, you're a prepper. You're gonna be stockpiling weapons. You're gonna be setting traps around your house. All things like this. It's gonna be like Home Alone, but like
Yeah, right.
R-rated version Home Alone or something. I don't, yeah, but
What did you think of this, like the multiple settings we got? Like they were creating some really good, in my opinion, Halloween vibes. So we already mentioned like we're big fans that we got to visit Smith's Grove, but we're back to some of the same neighborhoods again, and it looks great.
yes, I love this part where Michael is wandering through these houses on Halloween night. It's definitely a callback to part one, even part two in some scenes, I would say. Because we get that one shot where, and this is like a kind of a long shot where it just kind of follows Michael as he goes into like a garage, grabs a hammer, goes into the house, and the lady's making a sandwich. And call back to part two, but he actually kills the lady. Does he take the sandwich and eat it? I don't know. But
He doesn't take the sandwich, but he takes the knife.
yeah, he takes the knife but yeah, this really made it feel like evil, just like that we're watching just evil walk through this neighborhood, like the personification of evil or whatever.
Yeah, and the scene you mentioned is very interesting because that's about 40 minutes into the movie, and up until this point, the shape Michael Myers was played by Nick Castle from the original 1978 version, and I remember thinking,
Oh,
"Holy shit, that's really really cool." So anytime you see up in the first 40 minutes of the movie, but any of the like unmasked and like old man looking shots is the original actor, and that's brilliant.
yeah, it's really cool they got Nick Castle to come back and do that. It's just kind of a cool nod to the original. I appreciate that they like David Gordon Green. He respects the original, so I can respect that for sure.
Speaking of respecting the original, they totally get away from something that was established in part two. And what do you think about the fact that they ex-nayed the brother and sister relationship between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode?
Yeah, it's interesting that they even brought it up. I wasn't sure if they were going to do that, but they did bring it up, and so it's fine. I think it gets. I kind of laughed at when they brought it up because I think they wanted to just like
Like
take
right out of
care.
the gate, this
Yeah,
we're making a statement. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
the
it was good.
podcasters, they get killed off at a gas station, which was giving me a healthy like vibe of Halloween 4 because that's when you get bandaged Michael Myers killing people at the gas station, but also a little bit of H2O because we have people who die in the bathroom. And so I thought this was a pretty well established scene and it was pretty brutal.
Oh, very brutal, and just like man, I love how whenever they're getting gas, you're outside the gas station, you see Michael Myers pull up in the Bronco or whatever SUV he was driving, and he gets out and he follows the guy into the garage, and you just hear like a clang but you don't really know what's going on. And the male podcaster, I forget what their names are. Aaron, is that his name?
That sounds right, but I
I
didn't write
think
it
his
down.
name is
Yeah.
Aaron. Her name is
All I know is she was like, "Where's the loo?" And I was like, "What?"
yeah,
And then
yeah.
she's like, "The toilet." I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna call it the loo now."
That was another interesting thing. They made the podcasters like English, I guess, from England or something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. So I guess the American podcasters weren't good enough. I don't know.
They were busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
that's crazy because they were like, "We traveled a long way." I was like, "Did they come from England?" Holy shit!
yeah,
Never
but
know.
I love that when Aaron is talking to the gas station attendant, you see behind him, like Michael Myers is killing the guy in the garage. It's like, oh, I love that
Dude,
stuff.
I missed so much of that the first
Yeah,
watch. Like, you're like trying to catch everything, but that's something I caught in the rewatches was how
yeah,
much he actually appeared in the background.
yeah.
It's so sweet. And another thing to talk about too is we get introduced to Dr. Sartain. We met him at Smith's Grove earlier, but he becomes a big part of this movie. What do you think of the quote unquote new Dr. Loomis?
Yeah,
Your face
um
said it all. I did the
he's
same
okay.
exact thing. I was like, I don't know.
He has an interesting role in this movie. Uh, and when I first saw this movie, like with the direction they went with him, like towards the end of the movie, I thought they were gonna almost go with like a cult kind of angle, and I was really
Yep.
interested. But then it didn't go anywhere. I was like, ah. So I was a little disappointed that I mean I wasn't mad at the direction, like the doctor was like kind of in on it, but I was kind of disappointed that they didn't take it further with like a cult or something like that. So
So you definitely viewed it as a nod to part six?
um well, I guess it could have been. I didn't really think about it, but yeah.
Definitely the producer's cut, if nothing else, because that
Oh,
was
that's
really
right.
going to go that route. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was getting the same vibes. I was like, Dr. Sartain's kind of giving me like a Dr. Wynn type vibes.
That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. I like that.
And we mentioned that Nick Castle was Michael Myers in the first 40 minutes. Now we got to talk about the flip role, and that's for the first time you have James Jude Courtney, who, as you've already mentioned, is fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's great in this. I mean, I think that he is a good like portrayal, like could it can match up with the original pretty good, I think.
Yeah, body shape and everything, like his movements and everything. Andy and I both hold this entire series very near and dear to our hearts. And every time they make a new one, you're excited, but you're also scared because you don't want anything tarnishing or shitting on, the franchise that you love. And I gotta say that the first time I had seen this movie, I was very like protective over it. And over the course of different watches, I've kind of lightened up and started to appreciate more things. And one of those biggest things was the portrayal of Michael Myers.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of line up to this trilogy for sure. I wasn't super excited about it when it first came out, I have to admit.
Same. Yeah.
But I really appreciate that we have it now and that we can watch it. It's just more Halloween and more Michael Myers. I mean, I I'm kind of I know that the way the franchise went or the trilogy went wasn't popular, but I'm kind of glad they did something different. I don't know, like I feel like if they didn't do something different, then it should have just stopped with this movie, honestly.
Sure. Sure.
If they, because I didn't want to see three movies of Michael Myers and Laurie duking it out.
Did you catch since we talked about nods to Halloween 2, did you catch the scene where Michael runs into the kid who's got the radio on his shoulder and then the other kid drops a pumpkin?
Yeah, I saw the part when we ran into the kids. I didn't realize one of them
Yeah.
had a radio though. That's cool.
Yeah, it's up on his shoulder, and so that's a
Oh,
total
okay.
nod to part two when Dick
Yeah.
Warlock. Yeah, yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. And then, of course, we got Julian's house, and there's a scene where Vicky is there, and she's going to be babysitting or whatever. And I remember she like looks outside, and we see the sheets on the clothesline, and it was very Halloween one.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were supposed to see Michael in that. I kept watching that scene. I was like, are we supposed to see something here? But I think, like you said, it's just supposed to be kind of a homage to
It's,
that
it's kind of like
that
if you
scene.
know, then you know type deal.
Yeah, but you did hear him breathing out there, like when they had the shot from outside looking into the house, you could
Yep.
hear the breathing. So I kept expecting him to pop out outside somewhere.
Oh man. What did you think of some of our newer characters? Like we have Laurie Strode's daughter, who's Karen, and then she has her husband, and they have their daughter Allison, who's kind of in a way like our new Laurie Strode.
She is, yeah. Allison really is the rock in this family, I feel like. She she kind of is the glue that holds everything together in this movie and in Halloween Ends too, I think. Well, she's kind of has her own issues by that point, but yeah, Allison's interesting character. I liked her a lot, and I think
She's
that
really grounded.
yeah, she's really grounded. I even liked her boyfriend
Cam-
Cameron.
oh, Cameron? Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him, and his friend Oscar was silly.
Do
I
you
think
like Cameron because who his dad is?
Lonnie, that was
Yeah.
cool that they
When they
brought.
mentioned that at the dinner
Yeah,
table, I was just like, no way, that's awesome.
yeah, it was cool. Like just hearing like some of those callbacks to the original, like like we said, and how Lonnie was just kind of this little bit part in the original,
Yeah.
but how big of a role he played in this trilogy, I thought it was cool.
Again, like DGG loving that franchise, man, really bringing things to life. And so much so that there's even a scene of trick-or-treaters, and my dude, they have the Halloween 3 masks. How cool is
They
that?
do. That is really
Oh, I
cool.
loved it so
Yeah.
much.
And they kind of pop up again in the Halloween Kills, which is kind of cool.
They do. And just to keep this one progressing, you know, your kind of middle to third act transition is the Halloween party, right? That's whenever Allison and Cameron are going to go as Bonnie and Clyde, but they do a reverse Bonnie and Clyde, which I thought was
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
see that coming, but then again, it's kind of right there, and they're having a good time until, dude, this is like a school party, and there's drinking going on. So there's a shitty
Yeah.
teacher monitoring situation going on here. But Cameron, he drinks too much and kind of kisses another girl, which totally fits kind of the character vibe in this movie, not so much as his progression later on, but she, of course, it's crazy. He takes her phone and throws it like in the pudding or whatever, and she leaves and she's walking home. And then Oscar, who you mentioned is the like best friend of Cameron, is going home walking with her, but he's kind of crushing on her too. And I love this scene because this whole sequence right here, when he's like, I know a shortcut. And dude, they cut through the backyard of the Elrods. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Now, Elrod, was that the couple that was making the sandwich?
Yes.
Okay, in part two, yeah.
Yes. And
That's
then
funny.
also that lady you talked about, I bet they're believed to be the Elrods because if you notice, like she had curlers in her hair and everything.
Oh, okay, because Oscar he said, "Oh, hi, Mr. Elrod," so he thought that Michael was Mr.
Yes.
Elrod. So that's interesting. So like he was just kind of hiding it, or he was just hanging out there, and they happened to walk through the backyard while he was there. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean he's like going house to house and killing whoever he wants and picking up whatever he wants as his arsenal, but they cut across the backyard and I love this scene because it's got like this motion detector that's going on, so the light goes on and off, and that allows Michael Myers to hide in the shadow and then continuously get closer, which is a horror trope we've seen, but never like this.
Yeah, it's such a cool scene where you see Michael, the light goes off, and it comes back on, and he's not where he was. You're like, oh crap, where's he now? And you turn around, there he is. He's just right closer.
And poor Oscar, dude. I mean, he is saying
Yeah.
all the wrong things, but he is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gonna peace out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm
Sorry, I'm
leaving.
trespassing on your yard, man.
Yeah, he had all those like those cans, those beer cans,
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever.
But dude, he
Yeah.
he gets a pretty gnarly death.
Oh, he does, man. Like you don't like when I first saw this, I didn't realize, that spike at the top went through his face. It's like, oh
Yes.
man. So I knew that Michael like stabbed him or whatever, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he like
The
sank down on the spikes of that fence, and that's go to never climb those. Like lesson learned.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty crazy, pretty brutal.
Eventually, I mean, shit. The reason that Michael Myers is here is because there was a prisoner transport bus, and then it crashed. Andy, I don't remember if they ever revealed it, but are we led to believe either Michael caused it or maybe the doctor caused it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did they say later on that the doctor caused it?
That would make sense, but
But
it's
I
neither
don't
here
know
or
because
there.
nobody on the bus was alive. The doctor was the only one that was alive from the bus. Well, my and all the patients, I guess. But yeah,
Right. But you know, as things go on, it is revealed that Dr. Sartain is not like Loomis at all because he is one evil bastard. As I mentioned, he's like Dr. Wynn because he is actually the reason that Michael Myers was able to come back to Haddonfield, specifically the neighborhood of Laurie Strode. And Dr. Sartain has mentioned, like throughout his study, what drives him the most is not so much like the victim, but what makes the killer want to kill. He wants to know how that feels, and that's a red flag if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, yeah. I want to know what it feels like to kill somebody. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
then he should have pulled over, arrest him right there.
Yeah, really. And yeah, he was very concerned with keeping Mike alive, not letting the sheriff shoot him and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, he was an interesting character. Like I said, I just wish they would have taken a little bit further, but it is what it
Yeah,
is.
it's hard to take that story much further when you get your head stomped. How
Yeah,
about
oh
that
man. That
brutal
was
scene?
it was crazy.
Yeah, there's a scene where Dr. Sartain literally puts the mask on, and I was like, what kind of shit is this? Like, some
Yeah.
people look good in the mask, some people don't. But I'm glad that they didn't do it for too long and it wasn't played too serious. It was just long enough to show you that the doctor was kind of crazy. And he gives the mask back to Michael, and he thinks that, like, he can control Michael, much like a Dr. Wynn Cult of Thorns scenario. Michael, breaks free from this scenario and then, of course, kills Dr. Sartain. And Andy, what did you think of? I think at some point, we get all kinds of different cops and sheriffs in this movie. I mean, it's 40 years later, so you're thinking you're going to get new cops, new sheriffs. And clearly, people from the original aren't going to reprise their role because who's still a cop after that long, right?
Right.
Well, we get these two cops that were they're like bumbling cops, and I was just like, is this like a nod to Halloween 5?
Oh yeah.
Because that's the only time we ever had like a pair of cops. Because usually Loomis is in the seat, but this
Yeah.
time it's just the two cops, and they're arguing over what you should have for lunch.
Right, right. Yeah, so I mean that makes sense. That makes sense. It would be a kind of a callback to the part five.
We haven't spent much time talking about Ray, and Ray is Allison's dad, Karen's husband, and he was one of the most likable people in this movie. He is hilarious, and he just seemed to be, like Allison, very grounded in some sort of tug of war between Karen and Laurie Strode. But unfortunately, he doesn't make it, my dude.
No, I mean, I guess it wasn't a complete shocker that he got killed, but yeah, but he kind of did something dumb. He went outside. He should have just stayed
Well,
in the house.
he should have, but the whole thing was like the squad car was gonna wait and bring Allison to Laurie's house.
Oh,
And so
that's
he
right. Yeah.
thought that his daughter had showed up. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude, stay inside. But like if my kid was there, I would immediately come out to address the situation too. But at least he had a gun. He was prepared. He just wasn't prepared for Michael Myers.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, when he came out, he did ask about Allison. Yeah, that's right.
Probably one of the coolest visual scenes in the movie when he opens that car door for the squad car, and you see the one cop's head is decapitated. It's in the lap of the other cop, and he's like stabbed and dead. But his flashlight's in the throat of the decapitated head, and it's lighting it up like a jack-o'-lantern. That was incredible.
I mean, you just see through the window at first. You see the face.
Yep.
You're like, that doesn't look right, you know? And then the door opens, you see the full picture.
Yeah, you do. And you're getting tons of Halloween 1 vibes throughout Laurie's house. There's like some of the same stylistic shots. Some of the rooms are structured the same. And then at one point like Allison gets told to go in the basement, and you notice the basement is kind of hidden underneath an island in the kitchen that moves. I thought that was really cool. I mean, surely things like that exist, but then when you finally see it, you're like, holy shit, I want one.
Yeah, the ultimate panic room. Yeah.
Yeah, man, like it slides open and downstairs. I mean, I'm not gonna have like a survival hutch like she did, but what a badass like movie or man cave, you know?
Oh yeah, for
Have all your
sure.
collectibles down there.
Yep.
But it's really cool because Michael Myers, he's looking for a weapon and he grabs a fire poker, and I immediately thought of Halloween 6
Oh, okay.
because she gets a fire poker and she defends him towards the third act of the movie right before the Dr. Wynn crossover. But
Yeah.
Andy, to kind of wrap up Halloween 2018, as the movie counts down to an end, we find out that this house is not indeed a cage, but it's a trap, and they get the best of them.
It is. It's a trap, and so they trap him, and it was a pretty cool scene because, um, yeah, because the the daughter she kept talking about, oh, it's a cage, and but then like when Michael finally was there, she turned around and said, oh, it's not a cage, it's a trap. And so I thought it was interesting that like they kind of talked about it. And I don't know if the uh, Laurie's daughter was just calling it a cage because it was like a traumatic upbringing for her or whatever. Like,
I
and
think that's
then
what we were led to believe.
yeah, but then at the end she like switches and she goes in. Then the daughter goes into survival mode too, just like Laurie. And so yeah, it was cool though. I like the final confrontation and the whole trap thing. That was, I mean, because they got him down in the basement. Those spikes went across the entryway,
Yeah.
so he could not get out. So I thought that, I mean, it almost seemed like they were setting it up for, that to be it, you know?
For sure, it was giving us a very Halloween 2 type ending where Michael ends in, engulfed in flames. But, right before he does, they have a scene where Allison actually picks up a knife and stabs Michael. And it looks pretty glorifying for her. And I was like, ah, shit, is it in her blood too?
Yeah,
But they don't share blood, so I guess not, right? But man, um, those uh, those survival skills, are passed down, and I love it too because Karen, the whole time, she's like, I don't think I can do it. I can't. We planned it, but I can't do it. And then Michael shows up. She's like, gotcha.
yeah,
And I was like, oh, she tricked the audience and Michael Myers.
right, yeah.
So, in an effort to not keep this going too long, because we still have two more movies, I will say we blew past a lot of stuff, but it's so freaking awesome. And I especially loved the scenes with Vicky and Dave, and not just because my name's there. And I thought Julian was the smartest character in the movie. And you can't have a Halloween movie without having someone actually got babysit, right?
Oh yeah, you gotta have the babysitter in there, yeah.
Yeah, that stuff was awesome. So, all right, man. Halloween 2018, 1 to 5. I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna do a rating, 1 to 5.
Okay,
What do you give it?
give it a 4.
I'm with you right there, 4. All right, let's go. Halloween Kills.
No, 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 no. My grandmother was right. The boogeyman was real.
It's over.
We can't hurt anyone ever again.
No one told you.
Told me what?
Somebody in there?
Michael Myers is alive.
Stop! You had a knife in your stomach.
You and Allison should not have to keep running. Evil dies tonight.
I'm not just gonna sit and watch another innocent person die.
If you track Michael's victims, that's a straight line to Michael's childhood home.
What do? We fight.
Let's hunt him down.
Michael Myers is flesh and blood. But a man couldn't have survived that fire. The more he kills, the more he transcends.
Run! Go now!
He's the essence of evil.
Do it! Do it! You want your mask? Come and get it!
I'm coming for you, Michael.
I know Halloween 18 was, or Halloween 18, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills came out in 2021. There's a theatrical cut and extended cut. Do you know which one you watched?
I actually watched the extended cut,
I actually did too. That's awesome.
so I don't know what was extra or not.
I saw Halloween Kills opening night, and I hadn't
Okay.
rewatched it until today for this podcast. And today I watched the extended cut, so I don't recall, what was new or not. But I will say, if you're in it for the kills, you're gonna get them here.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a very chaotic, over the top kind of movie compared with the last movie, I think.
Do you
This
ever
is
hear people talking about like they like Halloween 2018, but they don't like Kills, or they like Kills more than 2018?
I think most of the time I hear people like 2018 better than
That seems
Kills.
to be the favorite of the franchise.
Yeah, yeah, I think
And
so.
I think the third one seems to be the least favorite. And that's kind of funny because
Yeah.
if you think about the original trilogy of Halloween 1, 2, and 3, it's the same thing.
Exactly, it is. It's the exact same thing, yeah.
One thing that's really cool is this picks up right where the last one leaves off, as they showed in the trailer with the no, stop, let it burn. I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool. But my dude, we immediately get to spend time with Cameron, which is really neat.
Yeah, it's interesting we kind of pick up the story with him walking around kind of looking for his friend, trying to call Allison, and he finds Hawkins, uh
Yes, who played by Will Patton. He is perfect for this role.
oh yeah. Yeah, we kind of forgot about him in the last movie, but yeah, he was great he's great as the sheriff. I like Will Patton.
I like how they use this as a transition period because they didn't reveal any of this in the trailer. So I remember seeing it in theater as soon as it was like, we're about to get a 1978, not a flashback, but a revisit. And my dude, they fucking captured magic with this.
Yeah, it was really cool. You can tell it's not like, from 1978, but they did a really good job of making it look like an older movie, like something that, you know, like a basically a continuation of the original movie. So I like that. It definitely
It's
had
like
the
if
same
they were
feel.
to make like a haunted house and try to build it to like the specs of the original. You know they can't do
Yeah.
it perfectly, but they can do it really well. That's kind of what we got because it's like you got Lonnie, you got the Myers house, you got the dead dog inside, and we talk about in the 78, Michael Myers eats dogs. And then dude, I mean, they switched it up. Like we literally got the Michael Myers from the 1978. Like it's a different mask. It's a kind of skinnier looking Myers. It just the aggression's there. It really like the vibes were there. Even Dr. Loomis, who nobody expected, and we know it's not Donald Pleasance, but my God, it doesn't look like him.
It does. I mean, I didn't even really like think twice about it. It's like, oh, it's Dr. Loomis, and I think this is kind of a cool little segue into where they captured Michael to show us how they captured him and uh, how people were seeing him after that initial attack, on Laurie and stuff like that. I really liked it.
Yeah, and it's like we knew the first one ex-nayed like the rest of the franchise, but we would never really see how. And they actually showed us how. But like you said, we actually saw the capturing of Michael Myers. And honest to truth, man, I thought it was kind of brilliant.
Yeah, but it's kind of surprising, with how Michael Myers is. How did they capture him? It's kind of what I was
Right. There was
wondering.
only like five cops there.
Yeah,
But
especially
I
with
mean, a candle burning bright still burns out though,
yeah.
and who knows as to why, but it was definitely a tool used to put a lot of weight on Officer Hawkins, and boy does it.
Yeah, it gives him that kind of drive. You kind of see why he has that drive whenever he finds out that Michael's escaped and why he's after him. Like, you see why, and with his past, how it's tied in with Michael Myers. It's really cool how they did that backstory.
It is, man. And so when this kind of revisit ends, we're back to the same night as the first 2018, I guess, movie. And, it's Halloween 2018, but we're getting to see the adult versions now of Lonnie, Lindsay Wallace, and Tommy Doyle. And we get to catch up with Nurse Marion. They're all together at this bar. And I thought that was really cool to kind of have the gang back together, so to speak.
Yeah, it was cool to see maybe not familiar faces, but just see the characters all grown up now. Nurse Marion, she was a familiar face, but it was cool to kind of see where Tommy Doyle and Lindsay ended up.
So you weren't I mean, you knew them as actors and actresses, though, right? Like, it's no surprise to see Anthony Michael Hall in another movie. It, I remember when he was cast as Tommy Doyle, like they're obviously not going to get Brian Andrews, that guy who played Tommy Doyle in the original, didn't go on to become an actor. I did meet him though, very cool guy. And you know, we're not going to get Paul Rudd because they ex-nayed his version of Tommy Doyle, but this version was okay.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
And now it is, though, however, the same actress who played Lindsay in the original movie, reprising her role as adult Lindsay. And I thought that was fantastic because she actually did go on to be an actress. She was a very popular person in, I think it was The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And so,
But yeah, it was cool they got the at least they got her back to play Lindsay.
what do you think about Michael Myers' escape from the fiery hellhole as he takes down every single firefighter? You want to
Oh
talk
wow.
about brutal?
Yeah, this was like just him coming out of the house on fire. That was such a cool shot. And the firefighters just like looking up and like, oh crap, they're like just preparing to fight him. And I mean, this is why it's like, how did they capture him back in 1978? Because you see
Right.
this here. Now, maybe back in 1978, it was like at the end of the night, maybe it was like the clock struck midnight. Maybe it wasn't Halloween anymore. I
That's
don't
what
know.
I was kind of thinking too.
Yeah. So, this is definitely this movie, this scene here just shows you how over the top this movie is going to be. It's just kind of setting the scene for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, man, like not one firefighter got off easy. Like everybody got some sort of brutal manipulation done to them in ways that involve, I mean, everything from an axe to a damn buzzsaw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
I like that this movie shifts gears and we get to see Laurie Strode back at Haddonfield Memorial because, as mentioned, I love Halloween too, but there's something great about being back at the hospital, especially for the second movie of this trilogy.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was like this is the same hospital. I thought that was really cool.
You know what else was the same?
What's that?
We got to see Sheriff Brackett, original actor. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
That's
Charles
amazing.
Cyphers. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a great nod to the original too.
It sure was. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because he's a sheriff from the original, like he's in the line of duty. But as he gets older, you know, some people retire and some people like they do like different things with their job. And that would make sense. Like he would become a type of like security guard. And why not for the hospital? Like that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you notice in this movie that Karen, Laurie Strode's daughter, is wearing a Christmas sweater? I think that's like a statement of like skipping Halloween or just being done with it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Like it's literally Christmas festive.
I didn't even it didn't register until you just said that. It's like, oh yeah, it is a Christmas sweater. Yeah.
Well, as Michael Myers continues killing people, we get a pretty intense scene with some neighbors. I think it's directly Laurie Strode's neighbors because we get Sandra and her husband, and this is the scene you alluded to, where she gets impaled in the throat with a damn fluorescent light bulb or light tube, as you put it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is crazy. This is another one of those scenes where, Michael was just being very like sadistic and just like
Unhinged.
yeah, and very cruel to like and yeah, it's just and I guess you could kind of see that in the original. He kind of played with his victims a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
it takes on kind of like a Rob Zombie Michael Myers because his version of Michael Myers was brutal as shit too,
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
like very aggressive, and yeah, so they get killed off, or at least so we think. And back at the bar, there's a scene where I, it's kind of like the gang's gonna rally up, and we'll get that throughout this movie, but they assume that Michael Myers is in a car outside and he steals it, but there's some subtle hints that it may or may not be Michael Myers. Did you pick up on them? Because I'll be honest, when I saw it in theater, I didn't, but after the rewatch, it was all there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was actually him or not. I was like, is it? Yeah,
Like you would
because
believe it because he does drive vehicles.
yeah, but then just to have like the person was able to get away and tell everybody that he was there is like that doesn't really seem because
Right.
Michael always like will hide in the back seat and take care of him.
Right, yeah. And so that was it too, because this person was walking out to their car and you saw the windows fogged up, and I was like, oh shit, we're gonna get like an Annie Brackett moment again, and we
Hmm.
didn't. Instead, you
Oh,
knew
that's right.
somebody
Yeah,
was in the back seat. They sit up, and she leaves the vehicle, and it's funny too because it's like her and her husband, and we saw them in the first movie for like half a second. They
we
leave the
did.
house, yep, and they're dressed up in the nurse and doctor costume, and it's funny because he's like, "Oh, I forgot my stethoscope. I got to go back and get it. Here's the keys." And that's like a continuous thing with this guy. He never keeps that damn stethoscope around his neck.
Yeah, and well, also when he goes back into the house to get his stethoscope, she looks and she sees Michael Myers walking down the street towards them.
Oh, cool.
But he turns and he goes into that other house before he because the kids ran by or something, or he hears the kids leaving that house, and so he goes up to that other house. So I thought that was
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, all the same night, and they
Yeah.
continued to prove it. But what I when I talk about like subtle hints that stood out to me, I think Julie caught it the first time, and I didn't. But today's watch, what I picked up on was in the car. Did you hear the music was Figaro, Figaro? And at Smith's Grove, that one patient was like Figaro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that, but yeah, that's true.
And then, if that's not enough, this person crashes the car, and in the passenger seat is an umbrella. And it's
Oh,
that same white umbrella that that person had at Smith's Grove when he was spent. Yeah, exactly.
that's right. He was the shoelace guy, wasn't he?
Yes, I
In the
think
first,
so.
yeah, yeah, because the Dr. Sartain was like, "You better tie your shoe," because
Yes.
yeah,
But, you know, it it's obvious at that point because this person takes himself to Haddonfield Memorial, but for the most part, nobody has seen Michael Myers unmasked except a select few, and those who haven't decide that this has to be Michael Myers because he's in like a patient's gown or whatnot,
yeah. I mean, because all the patients they're in the same, uh, you know,
like the Smiths Grove, whatever.
the smocks, whatever you call them. Yeah,
Did
but
you catch Andy in the bar though?
yeah,
The review when they talk about like the bus accident that had happened, that the two patients unaccounted for was Michael Myers and then the Figalo guy. So there was
yeah,
another hint right there.
yeah. I mean, there was, yeah. It would have been too easy just that they were already on to him, you know. Um, but yeah, yeah. It's we really this Evil Dies Tonight. We really see this whole
Oh
mob
man, if you didn't
mentality,
know, they're gonna tell you.
and this whole movie is kind of that mob mentality. Kind of see what goes wrong when uh, kind of hysteria takes over like a big group of people, and it's kind of unfortunate, but like it's very kind of tragic, and there's a lot of confusion and stuff. And for this other, the Figaro guy, I kind of feel bad for him because
Yep.
we see what happens to him later on.
Yeah, and it was giving me Halloween 4 vibes because in that one they talk about like the justice system fails and all the hunters like gather together and they're at first the law tries to stop them and I forgot which character it was but they were like that's the only men you've got.
Yeah, well, yeah, Loomis actually tells him no, let him,
Yeah.
because the sheriff was mad at Loomis for telling them that Michael Myers was in town, and Michael Myers is like, well, they're probably your only
Yeah.
hope because your whole police department's been massacred, so yeah, so it's definitely, I feel like it could be like a callback to that for sure.
We do get something new in this movie though. We get Big John and Little John. What did you just think about
Oh,
their whole situation? Because it was
yeah,
pretty funny and pretty intense at the same time.
yeah, they were great. I like them. I mean, they had a lot of personality.
Yep.
This is a very, very memorable scene. And it was actually, well, the big part of it is because they're in the Myers house. Like, yeah,
Yes, and dude, that was so cool.
yeah. But
And they're
it is
not afraid to tell you about it.
right. Yeah, because they were telling the kids about it, right?
Those
The,
damn
the
kids were trying to pull some pranks on them. And boy, we talk
yeah,
about Halloween pranks. These kids are like, we're gonna fake I mean, like, oh, our friend ate a candy bar from your house and it had a razor in it. And then the kid's like
yeah.
on the ground bleeding. I'm like, that's pretty extensive just to be able to say, hi, gotcha. And we also went in your house and stole all the candy.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I thought it was real at first because of like the effort that they went to make the blood on the ground and stuff, and the kid laying there. It's like,
Those kids
uh,
are some assholes, man.
yeah, they were, they, yeah, they definitely gave the Johns to run for their money. But yeah,
They
like you
did.
said, this is like a good comic relief for like what was going on in the movie.
It sure was, man. And I know we're going to probably say this a lot, and I apologize, listeners, if you're getting tired of it, but I'm just like continuously seeing Easter eggs and nods. But remember in Halloween 2, that kid goes into the hospital because he bit into a razor?
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
So maybe there's something there. But oh man, I mean, so much stuff is happening. Um, in this town of Haddonfield that we kind of split a couple different ways, and you kind of have like a story A and a story B going on. So we may be bouncing back and forth. But there's a scene whenever Tommy is like, he's driving around, he's like talking to everybody, he's building this lynch mob as you described it. Did you notice that there was a park bench or a bus bench or whatever sitting there? And sometimes those benches have like advertisements on it, and usually it's like political or like donation or just
Yeah.
something important. This advertisement was torn in half, but you actually saw Big John and Little John on there.
Oh, really? I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was torn in a way that I couldn't see what it was advertising, but it made me believe that maybe they were like big in the community for some reason.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's cool.
So that's pretty neat. But man, another thing that's neat is this scene where we're going to go to the Haddonfield Park because it's Lindsay, the two neighbors dressed up as the doctor and Nurse Chambers herself, and they see those three kids from the Johns' house there. And again, these three kids are continuous to be assholes, but Andy, it's actually not three, it's just two kids. What happened to the other one?
That's right. One of them is missing, and then we see Michael Myers because whenever Lindsay runs up to him and tells him, "Why are you out here? You need to go home." And she's like, "Well, there's this creepy guy like lurking around the park, and
They're
one
like,
of
he's
our
a pedo.
and we're waiting for our other friend, but he hasn't showed up." And then you see Michael with the mask and the knife. You're like, "Oh, well, you know what happened to the other friend?"
Yeah, and we're about to see what happens to everybody else because
Oh man, yeah,
oh, it is intense, but again, it is called Halloween Kills for a reason. We're about to add to the body count because most of them are kind of taking shelter inside Lindsay's SUV. You have Nurse Marion Chamber in the passenger seat, and then you have the neighbors sitting in the back seat. And it's kind of funny because at one point they had like got weapons and everything, and the husband is like, I don't even know how to shoot a gun. And then the wife is like, give me that gun. I fired one of these before. And then
yeah,
Nurse Chambers is equipped with a knife. And Andy, I mean, you probably got goosebumps the way I did, but this scene starts off with Michael Myers crawling over the top of that vehicle, just like he did in the first movie.
yep. Just like Marion's first encounter with Michael. Yep, just exactly. And he smashes his hand on the window too. Yeah,
Yes, but it doesn't work out so well for her because she gets stabbed to death. Meanwhile, Nurse Chambers is firing all her bullets out of the gun as she dies. And the guy in the back gets stabbed through the eye, which is hella
yeah,
horrific. And his wife, she falls out of the car, I guess, like gets herself back together and approaches to shoot Michael Myers, but she's like missing totally. And I thought she said she knew how to shoot a gun. Well, she proves that she does when the door gets kicked open, it hits her and she shoots herself.
yeah. That was crazy. I was like, what? It's like, I thought she was gonna at least get a hit in there, but she didn't. I don't
Yeah, it
think.
was a big womp, womp, womp moment.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah,
Tommy, he ends up coming to the park. He finds Lindsay's vehicle. She was attacked by Michael Myers in a scene, but she did manage to get away, and she's very smart. She just kind of hides out under this bridge, and they eventually find her. We have Cameron, Allison, and Lonnie. They all reunite with Tommy at the park. And this scene is really cool because there's like a merry-go-round set going. And as you mentioned, Michael's showing his personality because he staged the bodies of everybody he just killed and he put the Halloween 3 masks on them,
yeah,
including Nurse Chambers, who's hanging from the swing set. What a way to go out for her.
yeah. I wonder if he remembered her from 1978 or not.
That's why he like singled her out
Yeah, I don't. I mean, probably not. He's probably just was just killing whoever he ran across.
in the
But
typical way that he does, though. He's always got to decorate at least one.
yeah, well, I mean, he does that throughout this movie. He like stages bodies and stuff, you know. So it's interesting how he does that. And like I say, he has this playful kind of thing he does.
He does, man. And what else is interesting is Laurie's in the hospital, much like in Halloween 2, but she gets roomy because Frank, he finally is getting taken to the hospital, and he gets put in the same room as her. And we get a cute little moment between them two, and we realize that there's a little sympathy, if not a little love between them.
Yeah, they kind of had a they it was like in the past they kind of hint that there might have been something in the past where they maybe tried to have a relationship and it didn't work out for whatever reason. But I think the sheriff kind of still is carrying a torch for her, still kind of might maybe have a thing for her,
I love his sense of humor though, because he mentions Ben Tramer, and I thought
Yeah.
that was great.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Is that supposed to be one of like, is that supposed to be like her ex-husband or something?
They
Like,
don't say, because he mentions that he didn't make a move because he knew she was hot for Ben Tramer, but then it goes nowhere else, and that might be like a subtle hint that like, oh, we're not talking about it because that didn't work out. But it also could have been just a fun Easter egg. But after this sequence, man, we get to see what really happens to Big John and Little John, and yeah, it's not good.
no, it's definitely sad to kind of see them meet their demise. Yeah, but it was a great scene, like a lot of tension because you had them calling back and forth to each other as they were going through the house because they knew somebody was in the house and you didn't know where Michael was and stuff. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
I
they
liked
they
it.
were doing it very like police procedural. Like he's like, Study's clear. All right, dining room's good." Like they were.
Yeah.
But as you know, this is a two-story house, and so as they get separated by floors, Big John and Little John do not make it, and Big John gets kind of the worst of it that we see because he gets his eyes gouged out, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Damn!" Like you see his eyeballs pop out, and that's a
Yeah.
brave move because that sounds silly, but it didn't look bad.
No, no, the effects are really good in this movie.
And Little John, he gets killed off screen, which I felt fitting because it doesn't have to be brutal all the time. And they gave you a lot with Big John's kill that it was nice to kind of get a breath of, like, to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
Back at the hospital, man, you talked about that that lynch mob. This is what you were referring to because it gets out of control, and that patient who everybody thought was Michael Myers, except for Karen, like she knew what was going on, and she actually tried to lure him to safety, but she ended up locking him in a place where he had no way out, which I guess except for out the window. Let's talk about this scene for a second, man. Like, you talk about the way the tension's building. This was pretty climatic.
Yeah, because people were just like running after him, like they thought that this was Michael Myers, and there was like even whenever uh I keep forgetting her name, the daughter, she tries to kind of stop him, and people just they just run by her or whatever. They don't listen to the sheriff tries to. I think the sheriff even tries not the sheriff, the mayor, the guy with the cowboy hat. I forget. I
Yeah,
think he's the mayor.
I think he is the sheriff actually,
Okay, I didn't know. Is Hawkins just
because
like a deputy or?
Hawkins is an officer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think even the guy with the sheriff is trying to stop people, and they're just like knocking him over or whatever, and his hat flies off, and
Just goes to show you, man, a stampede's gonna trample every time, and it's
yeah,
sad
yeah,
how it builds, but it's almost to a point where it's like to the last second. Like you mentioned how Karen's trying to save him. She believes for the longest time Tommy Doyle doesn't believe into it, and then you notice at the end he kind of realizes this might not be the guy.
yeah.
And then you hear the voices from the back, and then I found myself going, this is crazy to see all these like nurses and doctors, but then it dawned on me some of these people are probably in Halloween costumes as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about that. I thought maybe
Yeah,
it's
because
just
I was like, there's way too many, like too much staff
yeah.
here.
You wouldn't think the staff would be like chasing after him, but I don't know. I think there was just this. It just goes to show you this like mob mentality just takes over everybody. Like everybody just is kind of like follow the leader kind of thing, you know?
Right?
It's crazy.
Especially Tommy, because he proved himself to be kind of the leader of the people, and so he's the voice, and they're going to follow what he says, and he leads them to this ambush, and it sucks because this guy's breaking down crying. This patient, he doesn't know really what he's doing or why he's getting cornered, but he decides to jump off the ledge of the hospital, and oh my God, the way the camera goes with him, you kind of see it all the way down to the end, and then
Yeah.
his body hits and kind of breaks, and it is
Oh yeah.
graphic and it sounds terrible. And at this point, Tommy and Karen that kind of form a bond. Like they realize they fucked
Yeah.
up and they're not going to do that again, but they also have to stop Michael Myers wherever he is.
True. True. Yeah. Yep.
Lonnie Cameron and Allison, they show up to the Myers house because they believe there's a point where they're like looking at a map of all the places where Michael Myers has struck, and they're like, oh, he's definitely going to go back to the Myers house. We need to go there, which is a great and terrible idea. But then Lonnie tells his son and his girlfriend Allison, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm your father and I brought you to this fucking kill zone. You stay in the car. I'm gonna go in and handle it. Because, we saw scenes earlier where Lonnie was confronted by Michael Myers as a kid, and this is kind of his redemption arc. And so he goes inside the house by himself to handle it. And 10 seconds and we hear a gunshot.
Yeah. So, probably didn't end well for him.
No, and so Cameron and Allison are like, yeah, fuck this, and they're gonna go inside to save his dad. And I mean, I'm looking at some of my notes here. Oh yeah, that is okay. I almost thought I wrote this wrong, but no, they find Big John, Little John because they did live in the Myers house, so all that is
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
when they find him, you think they would stick together, but they also split up, much like Big John and Little John did. And this is a scene where it was kind of, you talked about how like Michael does things. Did you notice that they were positioned in a way that mimicked a photo of them, Big John and Little John?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so there's a photo that the camera passes where it has like Ben John and Little John. One of them is sitting there and the other's kind of laying in the lap. And then you look at the bodies and they're positioned the same way. It's just a role reversal of which John it is.
Wow. That's crazy because, yeah, it just goes to show like, man, Michael Myers, he has intelligence. He's not
Attention to
just,
detail.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, man.
Allison stays upstairs with one of the Johns, and she's like, I think it's Little John, because she takes the knife out of him.
Hmm.
But then Cameron is walking around, and this is a big scene because Cameron finds his dad up in the attic entryway, kind of folded up, and then Cameron gets ambushed by Michael Myers. And I'm going to describe this a little bit, and then we could talk about it. But he gets stabbed multiple times. Allison reaches them because she hears what's going on and she stabs Michael, but he grabs her and slams her against the railing of the stairs and throws her down, upon which she breaks her damn leg or something. Like, it's pretty horrific. You hear a crack sound. And then Cameron tries to shoot Myers, but instead he gets brutally massacred. And what I mean by that is Michael Myers takes his head, shoves it through the wooden railings of the stairs, continuously slams his head between the structure like for a long time. And this includes like impaling him multiple times through the neck. And it's violent and it's vicious and it's great. And Allison watches this happen and she starts taunting Michael Myers. And so Michael's going to go downstairs. But then, dude, like talking about adding insult to injury, Michael stops, looks over at the somehow barely breathing Cameron, and then he just twists his neck and breaks it.
Yeah, like I said, insult to injury. He has this way of doing that when he's just like messing with his victims. It's crazy.
He kind of puts him out of his misery, but my God,
Yeah.
did he cause that kid some misery? I think he got the worst of it through everybody in this movie, if you can even say that.
Yeah, he definitely like redeemed himself after the first movie.
Well, Michael goes downstairs to kill Allison, but that's when Karen, her mom, shows up, and it's kind of cool because she stabs him in the back with a pitchfork, which is funny because that's what one of the Johns said they were going to do to the kids if they came back.
Oh yeah, I totally didn't catch that.
And then if you remember Halloween 4, we get a pitchfork scene, so we're back. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Or no, I fucked
It was
it up.
Halloween
It's Halloween 5.
That's what I was
Thank
thinking
you.
in
Yes.
the barn. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And then you want to talk about insult to injury. After she stabs him, she like tries to curb stomp his head on the staircase. I was like, you go get him, girl.
I mean, you can't stop. Once you like, if you're gonna kill Michael Myers, you have to go all out. You just have to.
Yeah, and her adrenaline was going too. And then she unmasks him, which I thought was really cool because
Yeah.
people try to do that. But so far, I think Laurie was the only one who was able to do that in 1978. And so she unmasks him and starts taunting him with it. And then I caught on to like what was going on. Michael Myers then follows her outside and they go across the street, then they cut between the houses, they make it to the other street, and then she has laid his mask like in the center of the road. He finally walks up to it, but then Andy, here we go. She's like, gotcha again. It was another trap.
Yeah, and this is one of those scenes where we really see the connection between Michael Myers and his mask. I thought it was interesting. Like in the first movie, you definitely see that connection when he's when they first pull out the mask, it activates Michael when he puts the mask on. He's like, yeah, there's just something
Yeah.
about him and his mask,
And I think
and
there's something to that. I think like they're really pushing that the mask is the driving force.
yeah, seems like it, yeah. But yeah, I love this part. You got the mob there with everybody's got a weapon, and it's like everybody versus Michael Myers, you know?
It's so cool because it's like dark outside, but then
Yeah,
everybody like turns their headlights of their vehicles on, and then you see them like pull in on both sides of the street and trap him in this like circle, and it looks like there's about to be a fight club of one, my dude.
yeah, and Michael's like, all right, let's do this.
Let's fucking go. And did you ever watch the It remake? Because I was getting total vibes of that ending right here, where all the kids rally up a circle around Pennywise and do the same damn thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I like it here because yeah, original Pennywise for me.
Hmm.
But man, they do fuck him up. Like it's a pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And there's like a guy with a gun. There's a dude with a 2x4. Of course, you have Tommy Doyle with his Huckleberry bat, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean they definitely put hurting on him, and even old Charles Cyphers. I forgot what the
Bracket,
Bracket. Yeah, Bracket gets a couple of he gets shoots him right. I think.
yeah, a couple of times, not
Yeah,
six though.
yeah,
But you know what they forgot, Andy? They forgot that he's not a man. So no matter what you do, doing the same thing that kills a man is probably not going to take him down. And I don't know about you, but this scene surprised the shit out of me because I thought we were going to go out on a bang. Like, I think we knew it was going to be a trilogy. And sometimes the middle movie doesn't really matter. It seems to be just a continuation of one and leading to three. But this movie totally mattered because they did the thing that I never in my wildest dreams thought they would do. They killed Sheriff Brackett and Tommy Doyle. What?
yeah. I was surprised at that. I mean, he after they get Michael gives them a chance to get all their wax, and then he's like, "Are you done?" And then he like yeah he just stands back up and that's it, he just but then it seems like they all just run at him one at a time, it's like
Yep, that's where they fucked up too, is they each took turns getting their licks in. I guess it worked the first time, but yeah, man, to see Sheriff Brackett at his age getting his throat slit like that, and then seeing Tommy Doyle get impaled with the broken Huckleberry bat was sadly fitting. But I again was like, that's a major character. I can't believe they did that.
yeah, I guess no more legacy sequel for them.
Nah, man, this movie's called Halloween Kills main characters. And
Yeah.
back at the Myers house, Karen's there and she's comforting Allison. And we're getting like a monologue and everything, but for some reason she decides to go up to the Michael Myers bedroom, but it's actually the Judith bedroom because we notice it's the same place where he killed Judith Myers. And they talk about it a lot in this movie of how like he just stood in that bedroom and looked out the window, looked at the neighborhood, but maybe he wasn't looking out, maybe he was looking in. And I wonder what made Allison want to go up to that room in the first place.
Yeah, I think she kind of heard about him looking out the window too or something, and she wanted to go up there to see what he was looking at, and then she
See
realized
what he saw.
realized it was the reflection, and then she does see the reflection of him behind her.
Yeah. Oh, that was sadly poetic because if it wasn't enough to kill Tommy Doyle, this movie tries to go and does go out with a bang because Laurie's daughter, Karen, gets brutally murdered in the same bedroom that Judith did. And were you shocked by this?
Uh, yeah, I didn't it didn't register that it was the same. It was Judith's bedroom. I didn't think about that, but that is it's interesting
And you
little.
thought Karen was going to be like a main character in this franchise.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I could see like maybe Lori getting killed and then Karen taking over, but nope.
No, man. This movie ends with Laurie calling Karen's phone, and the phone's just kind of vibrating, and it says unknown caller because she's calling from the hospital. Um, but then you notice Michael Myers actually answers the phone because Laurie hears him breathing. I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
This is a callback to 1978 too, where he's just killed Linda,
Yep. Yep.
and he has the phone and she hears him breathing, and but that first time she doesn't say anything, she just hangs up. But this time she actually
She
says
knew.
something.
Yeah. And she says, I'm coming for you. And so she kind of checks herself out of the hospital unofficially. She gets
Yeah.
that knife that was hidden
Yep.
by Allison in her shirt, which was very smart. Allison is such a smart character. And the movie's going to end. And so that's, yeah, Halloween Kills, man. Jeez.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Andy. So much like I did for Halloween Kills, I'm going to put you on the spot. Halloween, or I guess Halloween 2018, I'm going to put you on the spot for Halloween Kills 1 to 5. What do you give it?
I would say this is a 3.5.
All right, and I'm gonna slightly go up and go 4.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the edge just because of all the connections and nostalgic things that they did there. But it sounds like we both really like this movie too.
Yeah, yeah, I did really. I mean, it's an over the top slasher movie. I mean, what's not to love, you know?
Come on, let's go. Come and get me, motherfucker.
Let's see if there's something similar to love about this last part. We're going to talk about Halloween Ends, and I'll tell you right off the bat, if you didn't know this was going to be different, they're telling you right out the gate because you immediately get a different vibe. And maybe it should have been a sign, but you get blue font instead of orange font, and then you get jamming music instead of the typical OG theme. And we're back to it's Halloween 2019. It's only 1 year later, and it seems like the town is kind of embracing Halloween.
Yeah, they're trying to kind of move on from Michael Myers, but there's still kind of this I don't know, like shadow or whatever, this kind of lingering effect that Michael Myers has had on Haddonfield. You have murders happening, and stuff, and people were thinking, "Oh, is it Michael Myers?" Yeah, people going missing.
Yep.
They kind of hinted that they don't quite kind of they do say they're I guess they do say their people have went missing and stuff from time to time. But yeah, like you said, right off the bat, we start off with a babysitting scene, but there's no Michael Myers.
There's not, man. And you talked about like deaths that are happening. Did you catch that one of them was Oscar's mom? She like hung herself,
Oh, that was her. Okay, I wasn't
and she was
sure.
wearing a similar costume to the one he had on, that whole like devil costume. That was her.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Because in Kills, she goes into the
yeah,
hospital and sees her son dead,
sees his
and
body. Yeah.
yeah, like,
Wow.
dude, that's
Okay.
dark as hell.
Yeah, that makes that more impactful then, man. Okay, so that's just another effect that Michael Myers had on, like a
Yep.
lingering effect. That's crazy. I never noticed that. So thank you. Um, but
But tell
yeah,
us a little bit about this whole opening scene where we meet Corey and he's babysitting for a pretty rich family.
yeah. I mean, so he's like their. I think he's not their normal babysitter. I think he mows the
Cuts the
grass.
grass. Yeah.
Yeah, but their babysitter backed out at the last minute, so they just asked if Corey could come hang out with their son while they went to a party. And Corey's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a good night." And it's almost like he looks at the camera when he says that, we're gonna
Yeah.
have a good
Wink,
night.
wink. Yeah.
Yeah. But him and this kid are just hanging out. I think they're watching The Thing, right?
Yeah. John Carpenter's The Thing. What a
Yeah.
cool babysitter.
Yeah. Because I think the mom even told him like no TV or something like that. But
Decides to show
uh,
this kid like one of the goriest like practical effect movies of the time period, at least for
yeah.
monsters.
But and then they'd start talking about the boogeyman, and you got this whole like folk legend or whatever of Michael Myers, and it's and even like, well, later on we hear like the radio DJ that's talking about Michael Myers, kind of like a call back to part 6 with Barry, the DJ.
Yes. Instead of Barry, we get Willie the Kid.
Yeah, so yeah, but this opening sequence, it really sets the tone for the movie. We had this accidental death, which is pretty shocking
Yes.
and tragic, and you have the parents come home right at the wrong time, basically, to see the kid fall to his death right in front of them there.
Yeah, they walk in the door and you hear Corey say, "I'm gonna kill you," because Corey's locked in the attic.
Yeah,
Corey kicks the door open and it hits the kid. The kid falls over the staircase. But you know what? Something stood out to me this time that I didn't catch the first watch, and I freaking loved it. You ready for this? I don't know if you caught it, but in that scene when they run in and they see their kid dead on the floor, the parents, of course, kneel down to the kid and they look up at Corey. Corey is leaning over the banister exactly like the Halloween 1 movie poster, symbolizing Corey as Michael Myers.
oh,
It
that's
was
cool.
freaking awesome.
I didn't catch that. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, like you said, there's the more you watch these movies, the more you catch. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. The kid's name was Jeremy. Rest in peace, Jeremy. But I love how this does set that tone, though, because you're just like, I thought I was watching a Michael Myers movie, but at
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
time, something does feel familiar about it, and then we'll learn what that is as it goes. And now the real credits play. You still got the blue font, but you get the OG Halloween theme, so you know you're at home.
Yeah, but that blue font didn't it reminded me of like Halloween 3 though.
Absolutely, the third
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
also symbolizing a different kind of Halloween.
Yeah, which okay, so this I know this is like a sore spot for a lot of people. And I can see it. And when you look at the trilogy as a whole, you watch one movie one right after the other. I can see how this movie is very jarring to audiences because when you stop on kills, like it stops with Laurie, she's gonna go find Michael and kill him. It's just like she pulls like a Liam Neeson, I'm gonna hunt you down and I'm gonna yeah.
He is
And
taken.
but then it's such a whiplash where we go to this movie and it just totally stops. And this is like a year later, and it's just a different storyline. Like, what the heck is going on? So I can understand why fans, when they like originally saw this, they hated it. I can understand that.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
anyway,
agree with you, man. I mean, the sad part is that take this movie for what it is, but it wasn't even the full original like vision because COVID had happened. They had to change a lot of things, and a lot of the story changed to appeal like test audiences and stuff. And so what you're left with is a movie that I think Andy and I still both like, but it's interesting because it's a mashup of two different kinds of movies, and we'll get that as we go. But you're gonna learn that Corey's gonna be a big part of this movie.
that's true. That's true. Yep.
We get a different Laurie Strode in this, dude. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, I loved it because I I like what they did with Laurie in the first two movies. I bought into it, but seeing her look different in this, act different, and feel different, at least in the beginning, gave me a real refreshing feeling because I feel like she was working on her recovery and life was getting better.
Yeah, it's where she's like domestic now. She's like, uh,
She bought a
she's
house for her and Allison. She's
yeah,
writing
she's
a book,
baking pies.
burning pies.
Burning pies. Just such a major tone shift from the last movie. So like seeing the movies back to back, it makes sense of why people are upset.
Yeah,
But it's interesting, the pacing is just off. But as a standalone Halloween movie, I love this movie. That's all. I'll just come out and say that.
that's
But
great.
but anyway, yeah, this is weird. This is definitely a shift for Laurie. And I don't know if this is like satisfying character growth or if we like. I think a lot of people think it's just whiplash, like I said earlier. So,
Sure, sure. Like it's
um,
like backing. Yeah, yeah. Um, we get to see where Corey works because he works at a mechanic shop, and this mechanic shop has like a salvage yard, and he gets a motorcycle from his boss. Wink, wink.
mhm.
Um, but man, he looks pretty fitting in a mechanic jumpsuit, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of on the nose. I was like, huh,
Yeah.
okay.
Now that we're talking about this, I'm like, man, this makes me think of another movie, which I'm sure we're going to mention. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man. Um, a next scene we get is pretty cool. I call it the Psycho meets the Freak Show scene, as mentioned. And
Oh yeah,
we're at
yeah.
the gas station. And did you notice how much Corey drinks milk? Like in the beginning, where he's babysitting, there's a beer and he puts it up to get the milk. And in this scene, he's drinking the milk. It's almost like he's getting stronger. Wink,
Oh,
wink,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
But Lori sees that he's getting picked on by some bullies, and when they go inside, she walks up to him and she's like, "Hey, you want to do it or me?" And she pulls out a knife, and then she looks over at the tires, and I'm like, "Oh wow, she's giving good advice, my dude," because she's telling him you should slash the tires. But it's interesting because she presents a knife and gives him the option, and he takes her up on it, and he does it. He slashes the tires of their vehicle.
Yeah, yeah, and I would have to say these bully characters are pretty good. I like the
Oh, I
acting.
hated him.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean they
love to
play
hate.
great. Like it's like kind of the spoiled rich kid and then his friends and
You want to know something that I read?
what's that?
So the main kid, Terry, of the spoiled rich kids, the one in the Leatherman jacket,
Yeah.
according to the novelization of this film, he's the godson of Ben Tramer.
Okay.
Which,
I've actually listened to the audiobook of the novelization, so but I kind of forgot a lot of things, I guess.
okay, but that would exnay the like Laurie and Ben Tramer getting together at some point, if this kid really is the godson. But I still thought that was a cool nod, if so.
Yeah, and then I will say in the novelization they go into Corey's mother a lot. Like she
Okay.
has this whole backstory which they don't really go into in the movie.
I wonder if
But
it's represented well in this movie because she was
no,
very annoying.
not really. Like
Okay.
in the novelization she actually there's a backstory where she has actually murders her little brother like when
Whoa.
she was a little girl. And
Oh,
so
geez. Okay.
because she wants to be the center of attention, which I guess that does kind of carry over into this
The
movie
way
where
she treats her husband and her son.
yeah, yeah. She
Yeah, I was wondering if she was like borderline Carrie's mom
yeah,
type deal with the ultra religious, the prayer closet, just the kind of like a little too much type deal.
there's definitely like a psychosis there that is kind of maybe hinted at in the movie, but you really see in the novelization.
Lori, after giving him the great advice of slashing tires, lets him put his bicycle in the back of her pickup truck. And, he doesn't ride the motorcycle yet because it's a fixer-upper, but she takes him to the hospital, and we find out Allison works at the hospital. And when Allison meets Corey, sparks fly.
Yep, they sure do. This movie is like turning into a romance movie, I feel like.
It is, except for Allison's boss is a total dick. That
That's
surgeon
true.
guy, oh
Yeah,
man,
the
he sucks.
doctor.
Hope he
Yeah.
gets his later.
Oh, yeah.
Um, After this, there's a scene where Corey is he mentions he works at a mechanic shop, and she's like, "Oh, my car rattles," and so he's looking at her car, and he's trying to see what rattles and stuff. And this was a pretty sweet scene because um the bond continues, and but damn if it's not so much more, because I'm looking into this pretty heavy, but it may be a nothing scene on the surface. But he goes under the car to see what's rattling, and of course he gets all dirty as you naturally would, and when he gets up, she's like, "You got shit on your back." And she like willingly goes behind him, she starts wiping it off, and I took this as like she's literally brushing his shoulders off. And it was almost like they both have dirt, they both have history with things. It's very messy, and she's helping him get clean, right? Like she's helping lift the weight off his shoulders or something. And it was very symbolic in that, like, she's there for him and he's going to be there for her.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right. It's very symbolic and like they're both kind of damaged goods in a way, They
Right.
so they're like kind of perfect for each other, but I don't know.
Did you notice how, like, in Halloween 2018, her and Cameron were like a Bonnie and Clyde thing,
Yeah,
but that's only for the Halloween party. And in this movie, they almost really are a Bonnie and Clyde.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, I didn't think about that. Good point.
Another scene, we're at Laurie's and Allison's house, and we get to see Lindsay. She survived everything from Halloween Kills, which is great. And they're playing with some tarot cards, and Allison draws one that's like the death card, and she's like, "Oh no!" And then Lindsay's like, "Actually, that just signifies like a major phase is ending and a new one is beginning." And Andy, I mean, that's this movie in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
exactly. Yeah.
Corey is eating dinner, and this is why I said what I said earlier when I was like his boss, because his boss is his dad. Am I not mistaken?
I think it's like a stepdad or something. That's kind of the
Yeah.
impression I got. Yeah.
Okay, kind of like a family business there. And so
Yeah.
the dad and Corey seem pretty close. I really like their relationship. The mom
Yeah.
seems overbearing, as you mentioned.
Hmm.
And Allison, next day or whatever, she goes to see Corey at his job, and then we see the bully's car gets towed there, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
Yep. We're gonna see them come back around. Yep.
Yep, they notice he works there, and there's another sweet scene in this movie because you mentioned it's a romance movie. We get Laurie at the grocery store, and she crosses paths with Officer Hawkins, and it was nice
Yeah, they have a nice little conversation about cherry blossoms and
and eating better.
yeah, eating better. Yep.
But it's not so nice when she walks out of the store because she gets confronted by a woman who is the sister of apparently a survivor from Halloween Kills. We see Sandra there. She's the lady that got stabbed with that fluorescent tube in the throat, but she's now confined to a wheelchair and she can't speak. And so this scene was kind of hard to take because though you can say it's deserving, the sister was verbally assaulting Laurie and making her feel bad.
Yeah, it's you just kind of see how the town blames her, or certain
Yeah.
people blame her for what happened. And yeah, it's really sad. I mean, it's, interesting to see that Sandra survived. I mean,
Yes,
but it looks like she is not having much of a life, unfortunately, because her husband's
he
passed
died.
away.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Michael did the ultimate cruelty and like let her live where she
It's
was.
like you said, kills the partner while the other watches. Like it
Yeah,
happened again.
yeah,
And if this did anything, it showed what you just said with the town's blame, but it also showed the sympathy and the connection because Hawkins saw all this and came to check on Lori while she was crying in her truck.
yeah. They have a really nice relationship. I like it.
But Andy, we're 30 minutes into this movie and still no Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Well, next scene, Corey and Allison, they go to this costume Halloween party, as some do, right? And Corey's dressed up as a scarecrow costume, and this scene was really cool because he bumps into a random guy, and that random guy was Nick Castle, the guy who plays Michael Myers.
Oh, I totally missed that.
That's whenever he opens his trench coat and is like, "You missing something?" And it was
Oh,
kind of
okay.
almost like Linda, from the first movie. See anything you like?
Yeah, yeah. That's
But
cool.
it was a small part of him. I just recognized his face because all the shit I look at on eBay.
Yeah.
This party is taking place at the bar where Lindsay works. She's the bartender. And I thought that was kind of cool. And there's a really great scene where Corey's kind of letting loose. He's coming out of his shell and he's dancing with Allison and they're bonding. And Allison is a little different in this movie. She was giving me vibes of the Laurie Strode from the Rob Zombie's Halloween, where it was a very more post-traumatic and kind of outside the box type character.
Yeah, I agree. But I really like this scene because like her and Corey they've both been through so much that they're just able to kind of like forget everything and just have fun for a little while.
And
Kind
they
of
have
forget all the
chemistry
troubles.
too.
They do, yeah.
Um, this one scene that stood out to me didn't make much sense now, but it does later, and I'll come back to it. But when he is showing us all his dance moves. There's a scene where he's lying on the ground and he's kind of like, pulsating and doing the seizure, I guess they call it. And forgive me if that's offensive, but there's even like a blinking like red light on him, and I'm gonna revisit that red light later if I remember.
Okay.
But yeah, like every scene in this movie, it starts good and ends bad because he's feeling really good about himself, so much so that he no longer feels like he needs to wear the scarecrow mask. He goes up to the bar to get a drink, and what are the odds? The mom of the kid in the beginning of the movie who he was babysitting that died is sitting at the bar, and she lashes all out at him.
Yeah, another tough scene, another like where obviously it's the mother of the child that he accidentally killed.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, like you think you just come here and have fun, with your friends and
Which is
be
not at all like how he's been until this random night where she happened to be there
exactly.
to see it. It
Yeah,
sucks.
because she's not having fun. She can't let go of things. I mean, loss of a child is tragic. I couldn't imagine it. So,
And Corey is like, he has been struggling with guilt for this every single day. And the one time he tries to open up, it bites him in the ass and it sucks.
yeah.
Um, so much so he leaves and Allison storms out after him to check on him and they get into a fight. Mostly because Corey is just he's kind of done with everything, and he's kind of breaking it off with her and just saying like, look, you're the survivor, you're the victim, I'm the monster, let's just call it what it is, I'll do you a favor, I'm out of here. And so he storms off on his own. And this scene was pretty brutal too, just in ways of how mean people can be, because he's walking alone, and the bullies from earlier roll up in their car, and Corey, he attempts to defend himself, which is great, but because there's more of them, they overpower him and they take it a step too far. Dude, they throw him off the bridge and leave him for dead.
Yeah, it was crazy that they took it that far. I don't know if they, well, I think the one kid just got so mad that
Yeah.
he just, his anger got the best of him and he just shoved Corey and he fell over the side of the bridge.
You see what he
Uh,
said about his dad. He's like, "You're an asshole because your dad's an asshole to you." That's just how it goes. And that's what caused that kid Terry you're talking about to just rage and throw him over. And man, what a interesting place he lands.
yeah, he, yeah, lands, yeah, just almost like it was fate, right?
Exactly. And here we are, 40 minutes into the movie, no Michael Myers, but that's about to kind of change because Corey's body is dragged off screen into a sewage tunnel. And this is an awesome scene. Corey like wakes up and he kind of sees light, and it's almost like signifying like light at the end of the tunnel. He's like walking away to leave the tunnel, but then he encounters Michael Myers, masked Michael Myers we haven't seen
Yeah.
since the last movie, and Michael Myers grabs him by the throat, and he's kind of choking him, but they're more like locked on each other. They're staring into each other's eyes. What did you get out of this scene?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, is this supposed to be kind of like Michael passing on the evil or some kind of possession kind of thing or some kind of weird like codependent relationship? I don't know. You know,
Father and son bonding.
it's yeah, it's like it's almost like they need each other or they this is where
Ah,
Michael realizes he needs Corey maybe. But
yeah.
then, like, it almost seems like something passes between the two because after this point, Corey's a different person for the rest of the movie, you know? That's why I
He
feel.
is. Andy, so check this out. In this scene, I watched it very closely. I paused it when they were doing the whole like looking into each other's eyes. I could be crazy, but I want you to verify this for me in the future. If you pause it and stare into Corey's eyes, you see a skull.
Oh, is that it? Okay. I
Yeah,
thought
it
maybe it was
looks like
just.
I took a picture of it. I'll send it to you, but it could be the reflection of Myers' mask, but it could have also been like a symbolism of a skull. But my dude, I think you're right. I think he was passing the evil torch because in this scene, Corey, like, yes, he's different for the rest of the movie, but for this like 20-second scene, it's almost like Michael like sees Corey's whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I can see
almost like
that.
he's like you said, it's fate. He was verified to be the next Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
Corey escapes the tunnel and he's attacked by a homeless guy that we've seen a couple of times, but we didn't think much of it. But this homeless guy is batshit crazy and is like, "Go get my mask. I'm the Michael Myers." But unfortunately for him, he's not. Corey is, because Corey takes the knife and kills him, and we got Corey's first intentional victim.
Yep, that's true, yeah. And yeah, I mean, like I said, he's a different person after this point for the rest of the
Yeah,
movie.
Corey goes home to his annoying ass mother, and I can relate. I'm just saying, but he locks himself in the bathroom and he takes off all his clothes and he starts to examine his wounds and he stares into the mirror. And dude, did you notice he started breathing very heavily,
Oh,
very Michael Myersy?
okay, I missed that. Yeah, that's
Back
cool.
at Lori's and Alice's home, Corey shows up on his motorcycle. And
Hmm.
Lori hears it and she looks out the window. And dude, we see Corey standing behind the bushes in a very 1978 Halloween kind of way.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I picked up on that too.
Lori
And
was pretty
so
freaked out by this, man.
she sees it right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't take much. And then she goes downstairs, like outside, and he jump scares her by accident, but it doesn't help his case. And Allison hears Lori scream. So Allison goes outside, and Corey says, I want to apologize. I need to talk to you and go for a walk. But Lori looks pretty terrified, man.
Yeah, she is not like what's happening now. She's regretting her decision to introduce him, I think.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they spend a few seconds on Corey's face, and his eyes look darker than hell, or at least darker than they used to be.
Yeah, they're like black now.
The
Like,
blackest eyes.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep.
Corey tells Allison that he killed someone, and he takes her to the house that we saw in the beginning where the babysitting took place. And he starts like walking her through the course of the events. And then they go to a diner, and we didn't talk about this scene earlier because it didn't feel too important. It felt real weird, but we get to see there's this cop that apparently Allison dated at one point or whatever. He's a younger cop, right? And he walks over because he sees Allison and Corey having dinner, and then it dawns on him that, oh, Corey's that, kid killer or whatever. But
Yeah.
no, dude, Corey is a pretty defensive person.
Yeah, I mean, he stands up for them, for himself, and but we find out that this police officer, he's a Mulaney. Is that what the last name?
Yes, I didn't know if you caught that. Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the kids from that was teasing Lonnie back in Halloween Kills.
Yes. And did you notice how like proper, and I don't mean proper like, oh, prim and proper. I mean how properly fitting Corey looked when he stood up to him. He looked like Michael Myers standing there.
Oh, really? Yeah, I missed
Yeah,
that
I
one.
was just like, I mean, so much so that cop backed down from him, and he's like low 20s.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, it's not over because as you mentioned, Officer Doug Mulaney is going to follow Corey. Corey leads him to that tunnel, and this is where Michael Myers has been hiding. And so, yeah, I mean, again, this whole tunnel scene was giving me vibes of like Halloween 5 and Resurrection, both places where Michael kind of seeked shelter. So in Halloween 5, it was kind of like that hermit guy,
Hmm.
and he went
Yeah.
down the creek, and then Resurrection, of course, the whole beginning. But yeah, man, Officer Mulaney follows him in there and is attacked by Michael Myers, but something seems different because Michael seems like he's not as strong as he used to be.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling, but I feel like once he gets that first blood, he kind of like powers up. He kind of starts shaking, you know.
Yes, yes, I saw that too. He was like
So,
convulsing or something, but it's weird because Corey like says, "Show me how to do it," and he holds the officer,
oh
and then
yeah,
Michael goes to town, and eventually, like you said, he gets stronger by doing all this killing. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty like on the nose sequence.
it was, yeah.
Corey goes to Allison's house and he spends the night. And Laurie comes home and she's very uneasy about this. As we mentioned, she's starting to regret her decision. But we see that Michael Myers was watching from the bushes, thereby indicating that Myers, probably because of Corey, now knows where Laurie, her new residence is.
That's true. Yeah, I think they must have some kind of connection, like psychic connection or something. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, who knows? What do you think about this next scene? Because this is where like Lori goes to see Lindsay at the bar and she starts saying, she literally is confirming what we said about his eyes being different. And yeah, instead of the mom, we get to see kind of the aftermath of the dad
Yeah.
of the kid who was murdered. And he kind of lets us know that, originally he felt bad that yeah he was torn through the trial and he knew the kid as the kid that cut the grass. He was a nice kid. There's no way that kid killed our son. But then he says one day he was driving by and he was even gonna like be nice or apologize to Corey, but Corey looked different.
Yeah, this must have been recently, like within the last couple of days or whatever, because yeah, he said that he saw his eyes and it wasn't the same kid.
Right. Well, remember I talked about that shitty boss earlier, the doctor?
Yeah.
Well, he's pretty much proven how shitty he is because he gave a promotion to the girl that sleeps with him. And we get a whole sequence now of he's like, hey, check out my rich doctor vacation house. And, oh, I left a gift for you in the bedroom. Go check it out. And this scene was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, we get our first kind of like I guess our first Michael Myers kill scene here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like first Corey scene, first Myers scene, because Corey kills the doctor with a corkscrew in a very
Mhm.
great, like he like basically Black Christmases that guy and puts that bag over his head and then murders
Oh, yeah.
him. And then Michael Myers does what he does best, and he gives us a Bob kill from the 1978 Halloween. And Andy, I think we got Michael Myers back.
Yeah, it definitely seems like, and yeah, it's the first time we've seen him partner up with somebody too, so it's kind of strange.
Yeah, we're far in this movie, but he at least pins her against the wall, so we know that he's back in business. And after this, Corey like picks up Allison, and they go to the rooftop of this radio station of this DJ that we keep hearing from, and he tells her that after that night where he was babysitting the kid died, this is where he came to think. And so, needless to say, he doesn't want to go home. But this is the scene I wanted to bring back because while he's sitting there with Allison, the red light from the tower was flashing on him just like in the bar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I felt like, because I had read originally this tower was going to play a bigger portion of the story. I don't know if it was going to emit like frequency waves that cause people to kill, or if that's going to tie on to like what Halloween 3 did and be a nod. That would have been really cool, but they don't
Yeah.
pursue it much. But the tower is still a part of this movie. And yeah, he like jumps off the roof and she's like, oh my God. And then he like kind of lands on his feet, but falls on his ass. But then did you notice the way he set up? Very Michael Myersy.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool.
The local DJ, Willie the Kid, comes out, pretty much tells them to leave, but in the not so nicest of ways. And then I think Allison is kind of like hits the final straw. She's like, let's go ahead. I'm with you. Let's leave Haddonfield. And she embraces him. But then Laurie has been stalking them because she sees this from her truck and she realizes she's about to lose Allison.
Yeah, so she tries to confront Allison to try to get her to stop seeing him, but Allison isn't having it.
No, man. And the last part of this day that we realize is October 30th is Corey going home and telling his parents that he's leaving. And his mom yells at him and slaps him and then kisses him. And his dad's like, I hope you find love. Then title card, October 31st. And I'm thinking, it's just now Halloween.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll run through this, man. Corey sleeps at the house that he once babysat at. I guess that's like his home away from home now. But he's not alone because that's where Laurie is. And this is the scene where Laurie pretty much says, I was wrong about you. I see the evil in you. Stay away from her. You can't have her. And Corey's like, well, if I can't have her, nobody can. And that was not the... I got to say, when he said that, I started to go, I don't think Allison's going to be okay.
Right, right. And it seemed like, and then Lori just like vanishes. So I was like, okay, was this a real
Yeah, right.
thing?
Was it
Or
real, or does she have the same power as Michael Myers? I don't know, man. But Corey, he calls and tells Allison about the confrontation, and he's like, just meet me at the diner tonight. And so Corey goes back to the tunnel to Michael Myers, and this is where he's like, you have something I need. And he out wrestles Michael Myers and steals the mask. And it was kind of unbelievable, but I guess if Myers is weakening or passing the torch, sure, why not, right?
yeah, it was kind of weird. Yeah, having him wrestle it away.
But Corey sees his bullies at the gas station and he carves Psycho on the hood. And I was giving flashbacks of Halloween 5 whenever Michael Myers
Oh
carved
yeah.
up that dude's convertible. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But he did this just to get their attention. He rides away on the motorcycle, goes back to his job because he knows they're going to follow him there. And of course, it's the middle of the night. The only person there is actually his dad, but his dad's watching a Van Damme movie. And my dude, this is a pretty epic, impactful scene because we get to see Corey in the Myers mask do his thing.
Oh yeah, this is would normally be like a Michael Myers rampage, and this is not
Yeah.
Michael Myers. It's um
It's Corey
so yeah,
Myers.
we get the blowtorch scene, which is
Oh,
super crazy. We get the Willie the Kid scene where it's interesting. We see Darcy the Mail Girl makes a cameo appearance
yeah,
from Joe Bob.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yes,
cool. But yeah,
um,
such a great,
just everything. And so
yeah,
in this scene, like the bullies, like Billy got stabbed in the eye, Stacy gets beat with a giant wrench. We get a scene where Terry tried to shoot Corey, but his dad stood in the way and took the shot. So Corey's dad
yeah,
died, which
yeah,
probably feeds into his aggression. And then, of course, Terry gets hit with the gun and gets blowtorched, like you said. It's almost like he was welded alive. And I was like, holy shit. And then a girl named Margot gets the famous head stomp.
yeah.
But Corey at one point did return home and he killed his mom in a very beginning of 1978 Halloween POV way. And I thought that
Oh,
was
that's right.
really
Yeah,
cool to do that because it shows him kind of put the mask on. You see through the eye holes and he takes the knife from the drawer. I was like, oh, man.
yeah,
And as you mentioned, we get the scene with DJ Willie and Darcy. And, I didn't know what to think about this because I was like, oh, hey, Darcy, cool. And then she's immediately killed off. And I was like, okay. But I didn't like this DJ because of what he did earlier. And I mean, he kind of gets the comeuppance there because he gets face planted on the record and then gets his tongue cut out with scissors. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And he can't talk no more, man. And Allison shows up to the diner. And I don't know if you caught this, but it was funny because there was advertisements on the diner, and they were advertising the type of sandwiches that the cops were talking about earlier in the
Oh,
other
yeah.
movies. Yeah, it was kind of
Oh, that's
funny.
funny.
But what's not funny is he stands her up. Allison's there waiting, and he never shows up. So she goes
Yeah.
looking for him, and I mean, we know what's going on, dude. Laurie calls the police and reports a suicide, which I thought was really weird. She gives them the address of her home, and we see her literally prepare for it and then fake us out.
Yeah, it's like so she knew that there was somebody else in the house the whole time, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only thing that is logical to me. And she does this like off camera scene where she shoots herself and then like I guess brain matter hits the wall, but then we find out nope, it was just the insides of a pumpkin. And
Yeah.
she's standing there ready to blow Michael Myers slash Corey away. And she does, man. She shoots him a few times and he falls over the banister. And at this scene, she goes down and she's like, did you really think you were going to get her? I told you she wouldn't go with you. Upon which Allison pulls up in front of the house. And much like the beginning of the movie, where it's like, wrong fucking time,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
in a weird situation, Corey takes the knife and says, if I can't have her. And then he stabs himself in the throat. And then we presume dies on the floor. Allison comes in as Laurie is pulling the knife out of his neck, covered in
Yeah, so,
blood.
man.
Oh man, it's just like if things couldn't got worse, they just did moment.
Yeah.
And so, Allison, she's like, "What did you do?" And so she leaves in the car and she drives away, and Laurie's kind of breaking down, rightfully so. And there's a part where like Allison gets to the train tracks and then she stops because she sees like that radio tower or whatever is on fire. And then she gets a phone call from Frank, who is Officer Hawkins, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? We heard there was a suicide call from Laurie. We're trying to get over there." And I guess that makes her think that, okay, maybe I saw things out of context because why would she call in a suicide?
Yeah, yeah, it makes her rethink the situation.
Did you notice her outfit, by the way? Allison was dressed very much like Laurie from the first Halloween, and Laurie was dressed like later version of Laurie in Halloween with the button-up
Oh,
blue and
okay.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I saw a
missed
little
that.
bit of that. So this wouldn't be Halloween Ends if it didn't have an ending, and the way they choose to end it is pretty crazy. So we mentioned that Corey is dead, but come to find out he's not really dead. Michael Myers shows up to the house, takes his mask away from Corey, and he breaks Corey's neck. Um, I I didn't like this. I was like, that's kind of a anticlimactic way for Corey to go out. What did you think?
Yeah, because they had been kind of they had worked together for a certain point, but I
Sure.
think maybe Michael was just using him to like build up his strength. Uh, and then once Michael was ready just to go on his own, that's when he's like that he can, toss Corey aside and he doesn't need Corey anymore. So I
I
think
was
that's
getting some vibes like Freddy versus Jason, the way that like
yeah,
Freddy needed Jason to kill to make him stronger. I was getting that
oh yeah,
same the way you described it. But even then, I
exactly.
was like, Corey's been such a big part of this movie. He got kind of a weird ending, and that may have been because of the writing, what they had to do. But say what you want. I think some people were probably happy about this because we're back to like Michael Myers and people wanted more Michael Myers. And so if that's what you want, you're going to get it. You're going to finally get the final showdown between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. And so I had mentioned that Allison is on her way to the house. The cops are on their way, but they're going to give us a good scene where before they get there, Laurie and Michael Myers are going to have their final fight. And what a fight it is because they take it to each other. They're giving us some pretty awesome flashbacks and reversals of like what happened in the 1978, including that giant knitting needle. It makes another comeback.
Oh yeah,
But my dude, how about this fight sequence, man? How did you feel about it?
yeah. We get a little kitchen showdown here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was short but sweet, but Yeah, I mean, I think that like
Did you think it was fitting though?
oh yeah, I think so. I think because Lori was able to take the mask off
Yep.
and she had him pinned down with his hands pinned down and stuff, and had she knocked the fridge over on top of him so he couldn't move.
Do
Take
you
the
think it
mask.
proves our theory though? Like when she took the mask off, he
Yeah,
almost got powerless.
exactly. And I think that did do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so she basically what crucifies him to that table. She's like stabbing him through his hands and through his legs, and like you said, the fridge is dropped on him. And it seems like though for a second he's gonna like repower and strangle her, but Allison does make it in, and she like breaks his arm, and
Yeah.
then oh man, Lori like cuts him down his hand and down his arm, and basically it cuts his throat. She's like bleeding him out, and I thought, what
Yep.
a way to go, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yep.
The cops do finally show up and they find Corey dead on the floor. And they see, and when I say they, it's Frank. You know, he's leading the pact. Love interest of Laurie Strode, if you will, sees what's happening, and you can kind of see the connection between them. And he's like, "It's over. Like you finally did it."
Yeah. You finally got him. Yeah.
But it's not over, Andy. They want to really make sure he's dead. And
They want to
you
really
know,
make sure, and I guess this is the way to do
I guess
it.
so, because throughout the whole franchise, they've done tons of things. Stabbings, shootings, beating, bludgeonings, two by fours, you name it, syringes. But they've never strapped them on top of the roof of a car and drove them to a salvage yard. And you're going to get that here. But it's not just them, dude. It's the whole town.
It is. Yeah, they're having like a yeah, like almost like a memorial service for him or something,
It's
or
like everybody
just
come to the bonfire, right?
yeah, exactly. They're seeing him out.
Did you notice, like, when I say the whole town, like everybody's going to the salvage yard? You see the amount of cars, but then you see the amount of people walking, and you see some familiar faces. You got the sheriff who the guy with the hat. Also give me vibes of like Duke from Jason Goes to Hell, if you remember that guy.
Oh
But
yeah.
but yeah, man, like he like says this is how we're gonna do it tonight. And so they take Michael to the salvage yard where Corey worked, and they unload him, and they're gonna throw him in this metal shredder thing. But it was really cool because we kind of see like Julian, we see Shonda, we see a whole, Lindsay, like everybody's there for this. And yeah, man, they do unload him in that metal shredder of types, and we see Michael's Myers' body get crushed to oblivion and kind of explode into a bloody mess. And there's no fucking coming away from that, not in that
Yeah.
body.
Nope. Nope, not at all.
And Lori and Allison, they like reconcile, and Allison, she kind of tells Lori that you were right and everything, and they have a sweet moment. And Allison like leaves, which is kind of what she's been wanting to always do, is leave Haddonfield and kind of start a
Yeah.
new life, leaving Lori behind. But Lori seems to be doing okay, man. She gets to finish her book with like the utmost pleasing of words. Like I've been paying attention to her narration throughout the whole movie, and I love the way that she says, I killed my boogeyman, but evil doesn't die. It just changes shape. And I felt like that was the purpose of the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of nice she like summed it up really nice there, I thought.
Frank stops by, and it's very sweet. We can see there's a relationship bond going on, and he stays, and they talk about things. And then they do this really neat thing where the movie kind of ends with like different camera angles of her house, just like at the end of the first one,
Oh
where you
yeah.
see like the moments where everything happened. But this one lingers on the last moment of Michael Myers' masks, like on her like living room table or something. What
Yeah.
did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I think in the other movies when they showed the different scenes, it was like Halloween and we saw
Yeah,
pumpkins. Or this one, there was no sign of Halloween anywhere in these scenes
right.
except for the mask.
Yeah,
But I think that she has the mask, so it's like, okay, does evil carry on or does it stop? But also,
right.
it seemed like it was an end for her, you know.
Very much so. I think she went on record as, Jamie Lee Curtis is like, this is the last time I'm doing it, which, yeah, I mean, you're getting old, but this was also, say what you want, she deserved a happy ending, and I'm glad she got it.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good. I think it was a fitting end because I mean, it seems like her and Hawkins are gonna go see the cherry blossoms, so that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. And the movie ends with, of course, the blue title card and Don't Fear the Reaper, a song that any Halloween fan definitely knows.
Yeah, it was on the 1978 original.
Yeah, man. So Like the other three, I'm going to ask you. I mean, you said as a standalone movie you loved it, but how much so on a 1 to 5 scale?
I give this one a 4, and people, like, and it's a 4 just kind of as a standalone movie. That's a 4, like as part of the franchise. I don't know if it quite works, but just by itself, I really like it.
I'm with you. Originally when I first saw it, I really, really liked it, like a lot.
Yeah,
But then watching it today, like right in a row as a three, I felt that awkwardness as being the weird bookend to the trilogy. But I also, like you, as a standalone, I'm like, it's an awesome movie. I love the passing of the torch idea. And I
yeah.
do kind of wish it would have went in that direction, but I know Blumhouse is done with the trilogy. And so you gave it a 4. I think I'm going to swap and go with a 3.5 and match your Halloween Kills vibe because I liked it, but probably just a hair less for certain little reasons. But I still liked it. And so I think you and I are on the exact same page when we say the Halloween trilogy rocks.
It does. It's a really cool trilogy. I mean, it's just as for me, it's just as good as like the Thorn trilogy or the Halloween 1 and 2. Any of the different. Well,
The timelines.
there's some timelines that are not my favorite, but this one is just as good as any of them, really.
I'm
If
with you.
not, yeah.
Yeah, dude. The last thing I wanted to ask you before we wrap this up was, did you ever explore any like alternate takes or endings for this movie? Because I came across one that I thought was amazing.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't heard about that. What is it?
So I don't know, because you said, did you say earlier that you did the novelization of this one or a different one?
This one, yeah.
Okay. Did that one end the same? Do you remember? Like happy ending for Laurie and,
I'm
Michael?
pretty sure it did. I don't quite
Okay.
remember.
Okay. Well, then this was definitely just something that, because I know that David Gordon Green, DGG, was trying to pitch this to Blumhouse as like a new way to do it. And some people kind of like you were like, it's a great standalone or like prequel to something. It shouldn't have been the end. But my God, you know how this whole time you and I have been talking about how like the power is within the Michael Myers mask?
Yeah.
One of the original endings for this was at Silver Shamrock, and they're making Michael Myers masks.
Oh, I think I did hear something about that. Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking incredible because
Yeah.
that is what's happening is he who wears it gets possessed and then, evil. I just was like, oh, I wish they would have just, I don't even care if they changed this movie, but I wish they would have tacked that on the end. That would have just really been the icing on the cake for me, but knowing it in my head still works.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah.
Andy, man, this has been such a great time. I know this is probably one of our longer episodes, and I'm very long-winded, and I apologize, but
That's okay.
I'm so passionate about Halloween and Michael Myers, and I love talking
Yeah.
about it with you. And I hope that Screamers loved this episode. We'll continue the tradition of doing something special every year, but it was really fun to go down this road. If nothing else, to give me the excuse to watch these movies in a row for the first time and to have conversations with you. So, in closing, is there anything else you want to say about this 2018 trilogy?
No, it's just it's part of the franchise now for me.
Andy, the man of few little words, but what he says
Yeah.
is always on point. He loves it. And so
Yeah.
I do too, man. Thank you guys for checking out this episode. We got some cool stuff down the pipeline for November. We're going to revisit some 80s slashers, perhaps, but you'll have to stick around to see. And so for Halloween 2025, I'm Phantom Dark Dave.
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
Thank you for listening to the Scream and Skull podcast.
See ya.